Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're diving into Lightroom Mobile and we're going to be walking you through my entire workflow from start to finish of how I take a raw photo, something like this, actually exactly like this, from this to this in about 10 minutes. So without further ado, let's dive into Lightroom Mobile. Let's get this video started. Alrighty, so as you already know, this is the photo that we are starting with. Now, by the way, you might be looking at my Lightroom Mobile and saying, Zach, this doesn't look like Lightroom Mobile. Well, this is a little early access feature. So if you open up your Lightroom Mobile and it's completely up to date, you should have this little blue box. You can hit early access and then hopefully hit accept. But for me, I've already hit accept, so this is where we are. But more or less, it's just a little UI update. All the tools are pretty much the same. So anyway, this is the photo we are working with. And this was shot in Turkey. Lovely, lovely country, right in the southern region. Yeah, stunning. Either way, what we're first going to do is actually nothing to do with editing. We're actually going to open up the histogram. And what this is going to do is show us where all the information of the image is. And this kind of gives us a good basis to, I guess, understand what way we want to take our edit. So for example, let's say the sky was really, really blown out, which it is according to the histogram. Maybe we lean into that and just let the sky be blown out and maybe even make it a little bit more bright to kind of sell that look. So this is what we're going to be doing here. As we can see, it's we've done a very good job at keeping all the detail in the shadows here, and especially down here as well. So I'm happy with that. We can get started with the edit. So first things first, we're going to dive into the light tab here, and we're going to dive into the tone curve, and we're just going to lower the shadows here and increase the midtones ever so slightly. And you can see that boost, especially in the top right hand corner where all the bright parts of the image are. And then we're also going to lift the blacks up here just a little bit, nothing too crazy, maybe a little bit more. This gives it like a nice little fade over the entire shot. You can see there, if I lift that up, it's a bit too heavy. So we're going to come down just a little bit, and I'm pretty happy with how that looks. So we're also going to come in here and we're going to just decrease the contrast ever so slightly. We're also going to boost up the shadows just a little bit. And then we might look at increasing the highlights just a little bit. We are going to lean into that bright highlight aspect of the edit, and I'm quite happy with that. If you want to see a before and after, you just tap, hold, and let go. I think things are looking very nice as is. So we're going to now move on to the color aspect of this shot. And to be honest, I think the white balance is completely, there we go, as shot, is completely on the money. And I always leave the vibrance and saturation as is. I do all of my adjustments in the color mix tab, which is where we're going next. Into yellows, I want to pretty much desaturate nearly all of the yellows, even make them a little bit more orange to be fair, and drop the luminance a little bit. You can see there's a lot of yellow in this shot, so I don't particularly want to have a lot of yellow in my shot. I'm going to do the same for the greens here. Drop the luminance ever so slightly, and then I'm going to zoom in on Ruslan's face here, who's smiling and having an absolute ball, and we're just going to increase the saturation just a little bit, and we also might lift the luminance of the oranges because that's where a lot of his skin tone sits. We'll see if there's any reds in there, not particularly. We might just do the same here though, just to clean up after ourselves. Things are looking very tasty so far. Coming to the blues here, we've got quite a lot of blues in this lake right here, so I think we can definitely play with those. I don't want them to be standing out all that much, definitely a desaturated look for the win there. We might just increase the luminance ever so slightly though. I do like the way that looks. And then there's not much blue going on. I always desaturate purple and a little bit of magenta, especially when I'm not working with faces up close to the camera. And now moving into the grading section of things, we're going to add just a little bit of blue into the shadows. We might decrease the saturation just a little bit. And then moving into the midtones, I'm going to leave them as is. We're going to do the same to the highlights here, just a little bit of blue, desaturate like crazy, and then I think things are looking good. I might come into here and just adjust the white balance a little bit, add a little bit more warmth into the shot, nothing too crazy, and I think things are looking fairly solid from there. We're also going to come in here, decrease the clarity. We're going to be playing around with masks in just a second as well, quite a lot. Decrease the clarity, probably decrease the dehaze just a little bit as well, and then we're going to come in here. We are going to vignette, here we are, and just decrease the vignette a little bit as well. So this is our base edit before and after. As you can see, not too much has changed, but enough has changed where we're about to go ham on the masks. And if you want to save all the hassle that we just went through to get our photo to where it is now, you can go and check out my Lightroom presets linked in the description below. If you use this code at checkout, you can get yourself a cheeky little discount. And yeah, they are the presets that I use on all of my photos, of course, apart from this, because if I were just to go on here, add a preset and be done with it, be a pretty short video. It wouldn't be too informative. So anyway, if you want to go and check those out, you can do so down below. This code at the checkout, not at the description. You'll be able to save yourself a whole lot of time and be able to use the exact colors that I use to edit with. All right, so like I said, this is the base edit we've got. I think things are looking really good, but believe me, they're about to get a lot better. So if we dive into the mask tab here, we are first going to add a linear gradient on the bottom, and we're going to darken right under here to kind of clean up the bottom half of this image. We're then going to add a radial gradient of the entire image, invert it, and then we're going to drop the exposure. And this is going to really start to, I guess, highlight Ruslan in the middle of the photo, because right now he doesn't stand out all that much. We're also then going to come in here, we're going to add another radial gradient. Something cool about the masking tool is you can zoom out as much as you want, so you can add a mask just like that. And then we're going to be increasing the highlights. We could even drop this a little bit further in here. Sorry, increasing the exposure, increasing the highlights, increasing the whites ever so slightly, dropping the contrast. And then we also want to come into effects here. We want to drop the clarity, drop the texture, and drop the dehaze. And this is going to really sell a whole lot of light coming into the image. We can move that into the valley a little bit more, just like that. So if we have a look at before and after, I think things are now starting to look very, very tasty. And if we head back into the edit tab, back into the light tab curve, we can come into here and we can drop the shadows in here just a little bit harder. Boom, before and after. As you can see, I promised you things would start to take shape. We're going to dive back into the masking tab here. Going to add another mask, hit select subject. Hopefully this picks Ruslan out. I really hope. I don't know what else it would choose. Boom, nailed it. We're just going to increase our exposure on Ruslan just a little bit, not too much. And we're going to come into detail. No, we're going to come, actually no, it is detail. And we're just going to decrease the noise, because I know there's a little bit of noise on him right now. Okay, maybe we're increasing it. Yeah, we're increasing it. There we go. Just increase the noise ever so slightly, and then we're going to come into effects and drop the clarity as well. As you can see, when I am editing things go back to pre-mask, and as you can see, it's quite noisy. I let go, and things are looking fairly tasty now. So I think this is looking very, very nice as is. We're going to come into the crop. We're going to crop for Instagram. Whoop. Oh yeah, 4x5. Got that. We are going to put Ruslan right here. Things are looking extremely tasty before and after. I think all that is left to do now, at least in my opinion, we're going to add another radial gradient here, and we're going to zoom out. We're going to add it just in here, rotate it a little bit, put it right there. We're just going to drop the exposure of this area just a little bit, and then what we might do, actually, you know what? I'm quite happy with how that looks. Maybe one last one, I'll be honest. We're going to add one final radial gradient filter, if you can't tell already. Love myself a good radial gradient filter. Whoop. All right, we're going to put that there. We're going to zoom out just a little bit more. We're going to come in here, rotate that just like this, and we're going to drag this all the way there. Then we're going to zoom back in so we can see what we're doing. Light, and we are going to increase the exposure. We're going to come into color. We're going to decrease the saturation. Ooh, we're going to decrease the saturation. There we go. We're going to come into effects, and we're going to drop the clarity again, drop the texture again, and then we're going to add, take away some more dehaze. And then I think that is looking spicy. That is a full Lightroom mobile start to finish workflow. I'm going to end my screen recording there. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. This is exactly how I edit my photos, apart from the beginning. Of course, all my masking is done because to bake that into a preset is pretty inconvenient for anyone using the presets. So the masking is always outside of the presets, but everything that we got to get us the colors and the textures and all that kind of stuff before the masking, that's all baked into the presets. And yeah, I use my presets first, then my masking workflow. And just like that, that is how we get it done. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed today's video, let me know down below. If you're new around here, well, a subscribe would mean the absolute world. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.